Just doing the inside of the front wheel. Show you what wheel cleaning acid does to bare alloy. At least the inside's easier to clean than the outside. These will be ceramic coated before they go back on the car. Right, let's get it done. Just finished doing a little bit of painting. Repainted under here, some untidy bits and untidy bits around the flitch panel. Everything's been cleaned and the caliper's been painted. Hello everybody. Well, you've caught me putting the second coat of Mo's on the vehicle, and because the temperature is quite high today, we can only do a little section at a time. This goes off quick anyway, but today particularly it's sweating really fast, so we're not messing about today, getting it on and getting it off. I'll let this cure till tomorrow. I'm going to carry on with the wheel that I'm actually still doing, and then tomorrow I'll start putting the first coat of skin on over the top of this. So I'm going to carry on round the car and finish this coat off, and then I'll be back on the wheel. I was asleep last night and my arm was doing that. I don't think the wife was very happy. Right, I'll see you soon. Well, another day and the same wheel. What I've been doing is I've been doing this wheel in 4-hour shifts, and by the end of 4 hours I can't even feel my fingers, but it is getting better. This particular wheel has been extremely bad because it appears to be actually pitted from the acid etching, and it's taking quite a lot of work to get it looking reasonable, but considering the amount of damage that's been caused, you know, through acid etching, it's not really surprising. Now, I can't achieve the perfection that I'd really like to because the spokes are just in the way. And to get behind every spoke, I mean, I've got, I'll show you what I've got. I've got 2 different size ropes, which I'm using behind, imagine, the spoke closest to the lip at the back. I've got a thin one, which will get down into the bottom groove. The thick one really does sort of the first 1/4 of an inch of the top of the groove, and then the rest of it I'm doing with strips of microfiber that I've cut up, and plenty of finger rubbing, and you know, I'm just doing the best I can. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, when the wheel is on the car going round, it'll look fantastic. It's just that I can't achieve what I would really love to achieve, but you know, the difference you can see yourself. You know, it's a massive difference. I've been on this now about half an hour, so I've got about 3 hours left, where, you know, although, you know, I am really feeling like I've got to stick at this front of this wheel so I can get it off and do the inside, and I want to get the inner arch. There's some painting to do on the arch inside. There's a couple of places, but I can't pull against the wheel in wheel holder because it just pulls the wheel over, so it's better off doing it on the car. You know, you can pull against the wheel, you know, to polish it. But you know, this is why sometimes you can put all the effort in the world into something and still not achieve what you'd like to. But there are times where you just think, just do the best you can. It won't be disappointing, you know, the finish, you know, by the time the inside's done, which is a lot easier with the machine and whatnot, you know, they will stand out and make the car look stunning. I mean, the car looks stunning anyway. You know, it's still got 2 coatings to go on, but I'm really happy with the way it looks, and I just would like to be really happy with the way the wheels look. But I'm sure with a bit more effort and time, they'll look good. Right, I'm going to get back on it because talking is not getting it done. So I'll see you a bit later and see if I can finish the front of this wheel. Well, it's just gone 3 o'clock. I've gone over my 4-hour shift, but I've managed to finish the outside of the wheel. Thank God. The only problem is now is I've just looked at the back one, and it looks like I made a better job of this one, so I might have to do the back one again. But I'm going to take this wheel off now and do the inside. But bit of a result here, considering it was so bad. Loving it. Right, there you go. About 13 hours work over 3 days. Is it worth it? Very likely. Right, see you soon. Taken that front wheel off now. I've just cleaned the inside loose debris off, and I'm going to get the 3-inch polisher with that old pad that I've already ruined and see if we can polish this up. I'll set the camera up so you can watch. Okay peoples, let's dab some auto so I wish the outside was this easy. inside, have a look. I can already see there's some stains that still haven't come out, so we'll have to go over it again. But as you can see, we're already starting to get a result. But there's a few stains that I've got to get out. Also, I've got to get in there with my fingers because the polisher hits against the back of the wheel. So I'm just going to crack on. Should take about half an hour, which is nowhere near the time it's took to do the outside. So happy days, see you in a bit. There you go, inside's done, and it's took me 35 minutes. So I wish the outside was as easy. Right, let's get it cleaned off and then ceramic coated. Good morning, this is Ted from The Devil's in the Detail. Well, today it's Saturday morning, and as you probably know if you follow my videos, I'm only in for about 4 hours on a Saturday. Thank God today. Well, it's probably been one of the toughest patience testing weeks I've ever had in car detailing. Is the wheels. This wheel was particularly bad because the etching had actually pitted the wheel. So I could say really it's 3 days work. You know, just getting behind the spokes to try and get some sort of reflection from the spokes behind, it's been a killer. And you know, it has tried me patience, but you know, overall I knew it was going to be hard before I even started. How hard, didn't really expect, you know, the amount of effort that it's needed to do it, but this is part and parcel of working on a car so iconic, and there's been trials and tribulations throughout the job. You have to go into these sort of jobs with a completely different mindset to what you would with a modern vehicle. What paint got on it, how much paint's on it, can we measure it? You probably saw in earlier videos, I tried using more modern techniques with orbital polishers, and it just wasn't cutting it. I couldn't get the gloss level that I wanted, and really had to resort back to using rotaries. And I've really enjoyed using them, but the scare factor is that we can't measure the paint because this car's really been repainted twice since its restoration, and our meters can't really judge just how much lacquer you've got to play with. And when you're using wool mops on rotaries and whatnot, you know, it can be a bit scary. But we've got through the paintwork issues, and also there was some sinkages through previous repairs. Some of them I've been able to hide completely, others I haven't been able to hide completely because not knowing exactly how much I could flat it. So I've had to sort of draw a line, you know, for the safety of myself, the car. You imagine if I have to have a panel repainted. Matching this colour has been a nightmare just for a touch-up stick, even though I thought it was British Racing Green initially, and it turns out it's Goodwood Green. Well, even the stick that I've had mixed to Goodwood Green, Aston Martin, is still not an exact colour. So if we'd have had to paint a panel, you know, because I broke through, I can see that we'd have ended up painting a solid house. Or look at that, I should play cricket. Shows how slick the paint is now, and I ain't finished yet. Now, the whole job really is about making the car better than it came in. Expectations for it, yes, I knew I could make it look better, but I wanted to make a big difference. I wanted it really, you know, I couldn't get it concourse without flattening the whole car. but I wanted to get as close to that as I could, you know, through multi-stage polishing, cutting down in the early stages, as you know, a lot of different paint finishes. You know, the doors was both painted away from the car initially. Looks like it was painted by a different painter, completely different finish, for a panel that sits right in the middle of the car. So I've managed to balance them out to an acceptable level. You know, it definitely wasn't acceptable before. You know, and really, you know, I've been nursing this job. You know, this job for me is, it's a privilege to work on the car, and I wanted to do the justice that the car deserved, because some fellas made this car by hand. They beat all the panels into shape, you know, the old skills, and I wanted to do the car justice. Also, I suppose expectations of what I could achieve, you know, even my expectations was lower than what I've actually achieved, and so I'm really pleased. The finishing touch to this job has been the wheels, and I initially said that I'd need a week to do the 4 wheels. Well, it's nearly 2 weeks. I've finished the one that you see behind me, and now comparing it to the one that I did first, that I thought I'd done a marvellous job on, I'm not so happy with that one, and I feel like you know, I'm going to have to go over that one again. No, I probably don't have to. Nobody's going to be able to tell, probably, but you know, I know, and so really, that's what I'm going to do next, I think. But we'll see how the rest of it goes. Now today, it's Saturday morning, and I'm going to start applying the first coat of 2 of the skin. Now, this is the top coat. I've put 2 coats of the base coat, Mose, and now it's going to have 2 coats of skin. Now I'll do 1 coat today, and then depending on whether I start on the wheel on Monday, depends whether I'll put another coat on Monday. I like to leave it to cure. You know, they say you can do it after an hour. I don't really think that they cure hard enough really to take a double coat in an hour. So I'm going to do what I think. You know, I can be told, you can tell me if I'm wrong, you know, but that's how I feel. There's no time pressure on the car. There was, but there's not anymore for various reasons. So, you know, I can spend another week on the car if I have to. But basically, I'll get these 2 coats done and cured, and then I can start fitting back the wing mirrors to the doors, the headlight bowls. You know, they've got to be polished. The chrome surround on it's got, or the aluminium surround's got to be polished, and they've got to be ceramic coated as well. I've still got things like vac the boot out, because I've stripped all the parts and put all the stuff in the boot, and of course over a period of that time I haven't vacked it, so that's got to be done. I'll have to go around the inside of the windows again, because as I've coated the windows I've noticed some marks that I haven't got out. But basically I just wanted to, because there's been no videos, you know, this week, because it's all been about wheels and wheels, and you know, it does drive you insane, but you have to do it. Now, the car really isn't that far off being finished. I'm going to put a coat of the skin on, as I say, and then I'm going to do the underside of the wheel arch and the caliper on the side I took the wheel off, and I'm going to tidy that up. So I'll give you a look at the before and after on that, but you've seen the other ones, it'll be the same. A little bit of paint work to do in the wheel arch, but generally just clean it up, paint the calipers, and then the wheel can go back on. So we're nearly at the end, but I wanted to spend, you know, some time just to try and explain, you know, this job and all my jobs, you know, mean the world to me. But this car, to me, the longer I've spent working on it, the more I've appreciated the quality, you know, the history. And you know, I could take this home and put it in my living room and just look at it for the rest of my life. I think it's beautiful. And that appreciation has come through going over the car inch by inch. I mean, you can literally, you know, the waves in the panels that you probably see that you think they look like fiberglass, well, these are handmade panels, and you can't expect them to be razor flat. You know, it's been restored before, and you know, yes, I suppose in these modern days, you know, this probably wouldn't be an acceptable level of finish, but when this was done, it was more than acceptable. Um, the last paint job has been debatable whether, you know, it was good enough, but it certainly looks good enough now. And I just think it's a work of art, and I'm sure there are people like out there that watch these that also think these are a work of art. You know, it's something to be cherished. This car's going to be fortunate in as much as the owner is going to drive it. It's not going to sit in a garage and just be looked at. He's probably going to push it to the limits of this car to see what it can do, how it drives. You know, he is a good driver, he races classic cars, and I'm sure, you know, he loves this car to bits, but he's bought it for the experience of driving it. And I admire the fact that, you know, it's going to get used and not just sit there. Um, Perhaps in a few years' time it'll come back to have a refresh, and I look forward to that. You know, to the more I work on this car, you know, I love it, and you know, I love all the cars I work on, because you cannot do a good job if you don't love what you're doing, and you fall in love with every one of them. You know, you're like they're taking a piece of your life with them, because this car will have had, you know, 5 to 6 weeks of my life put into this car, and you can't work on something of, you know, that time and not be in love with it. You know, it's the love that's kept me going on the wheels. You know, it's a passion. You know, we love cars. That's why we're in the game in the first place. And there isn't any detailer in the country that would say I hate cars. You know, it's that's the reason they do it, is they're passionate, and you need passion. You know, when you get jobs like this, they're more passion driven than monetary. Um, it's giving your all to create something that you're proud of, and hopefully when the owner, you know, picks it up, they're proud of as well. And I'm going to stop babbling on now, and I'm going to apply the skin first, and then later on I'll show you the befores and afters on the wheel arch. But thanks for watching my videos. It means the world to me that anybody watches them, and there are people who leave comments which I appreciate immensely, whether they're, you can leave negative comments or questions and I'll answer them, but it just means the world that you're actually watching them, because I never thought anybody would watch any of my videos. You know, I've been told I've got a voice that don't really is no good for radio, because I put you to sleep, and I certainly haven't got a face for television. So, you know, I appreciate all of you watching it. So anyway, I'm going to get on, and I'll see you a little bit later. Thanks again. Hi, it's Ted from The Devil's in the Detail. Hit that subscribe button now. See you later. Enjoy the video.